I ready to hang out for a minute before I can hang out for more than 30 minutes, 20 minutes. I don't know, whatever. I was sitting here going through. I don't know if you've ever read this. This book's pretty amazing. I was so it has a lot of dream sequences in it, and I was like, I need to go through and I need to find all the pages with all the dream sequences. And then you start going through the book, and you're like, oh wait, the whole book is a dream sequence. That's like kind of the point. Um, so let's go on chapter 5. Um, yeah, I've read the whole thing, but yeah, it's funny. I yeah, I wanted to go through and be like, okay, I need to find, yeah, because there's several prominent ones that are, you know, at sort of junctures in the book. So maybe there's like 5 or 6 major sequences, and I'm like, okay, let me go through, pick them out, whatever. But then because the main the protagonist, is that, yeah, the protagonist, which is actually funny because now I can't say the protagonist without thinking of Tenet. And then that has a little bit of time travel, and then she has several dream sequences in this book about time travel. So it 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 you know it's quite interesting. But maybe we'll get some guys pop in here. We're gonna hang out for a little bit before I go chill out before I gotta go work. But what are y'all up to? Anybody hanging out? I every time I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna live stream. I'm not gonna do that. There's no point. I go through and I scroll through live streams, like, well, there's no one hanging out. Everyone seems to be doing an act, you know. So I figured, like, let's just hang out. We'll chill, and it's early here. I mean, I'm early in the morning. I'm gonna get ready to go to work in a little bit. But sorry, I've been going through. Anyone just joined? I've been going through. I was going through this morning. Um, it's pretty fun, pretty good read. Um, it's actually interesting the difference between if you hear the audio version and you read it. I always like the difference because there's certain books that I have that I don't like to read, but I like the audio version. And then there's certain what's up from New Zealand? How you doing? Skylander Chemo 2012. Give me 1 second. I sorry, I've been sitting here. I was trying to go through. I'm going through this book, Thomas Pynchon's Bleeding Edge. I started off going through it after I read it the first time, um, because he has an insane number of musical references. So I was like, oh, I wanted to hear, like, I wanted to find the songs that he talks about. And so then I like find a wiki. And so if you pull up the, let me see if I can find the wiki. If you pull up the Thomas Pynchon Wikipedia on this, um, and you look at the music references, there's like there's probably 200 references to specific songs in the book. It is it's insane. It's almost like a work in and of itself um, just to like catalog the ability to hold the musical references in your head and then put them on paper. Um, and so there's a couple of yeah, there we go. Um, bro, I don't even know. Okay, so there's like at least 100 songs referenced in the book. So we have "Oops, I Did It Again," "Help Me, Rhonda," "Landslide" from Stevie Nicks, "Borderline" from Madonna, "The Love Boat," "Purple Haze," "Georgia on My Mind," "West Side Story," "When Irish Eyes Are Smiling," Corey, Britney, another Britney Spears song, Jay-Z reference, 1999, 48, Evil Empire, Elvis Presley. Like the number of musical references in the story are insane. And so like the thing is like there's multiple things that he orients the story around. And so it's actually really interesting because then you're like, okay, you've kind of got to you get like, we're talking about, I'm talking about this right here. I've been reading back through it. It's Thomas Pynchon's Bleeding Edge because it has it's based around the dot-com burst. He wrote it in 2013, which would have been around the financial crisis. And so now I'm looking back on it from the perspective of like, is there going to be like AI bubble burst in terms of the hype that's been generated because of AI? So starting off, I got interested in the musical references because he has tons of musical references. So as you go through it, he talks about songs, and then so and so singing this, and then they go to karaoke multiple times, and so they wind up in this sort of, they're like a bunch of Korean tourists in a karaoke bar with them, and they're singing. They get all to the front of the karaoke line, so everyone else is like continuing it in this other party is continuing to drink and hang out and whatever. And then it finally gets to their songs, and then, it's them singing songs, but everything's kind of interrelated. So it's like this one bubble that's here of all the like songs, musical references, all that stuff. And then you get everything else. So you get all the companies and all the names and all the things that the main character is investigating. And that's another bubble. And then you get like government conspiracy theory references, all that other stuff. It's another one. And so you get this like kind of interwoven, overlapping sort of set of ideas that sort of come about. But there's some pretty, so like, yeah, so I went through, I was like, okay, I'm going to go through, I'm going to find the dream sequences, because Maxine in this book has several dream sequences throughout it. And so she'll like kind of, it's like a first person perspective. You wake up, you're in a dream. This is going on. It feels real. But I started going through the book, and I realized the whole thing kind of is a dream sequence because it's trying to overlap what they jokingly call meat space. So like real life meat space with virtual reality, and then dream reality. So there's sort of this like triunity of these different elements that kind of shift throughout the book. So it'll be like a time where it's more like based in reality, and there'll be a time where it's based more like in dream logic, and then it'll be a time where it's based more in virtual logic. And so it constantly kind of ratchets as you go through. And so yeah, I don't know. I I get plenty of time to listen to audiobooks and stuff at work, so I but there's sort of a tone that's set at the beginning that's pretty fun. So I'll read a little bit of that. This is a point where you always okay. So she meets a character. he becomes a recurring character throughout the book that helps her tie in some other aspects of her life. But this is sort of like a main theme. So this was the point you always got to with Reg. First time they met was on a cruise. If you think of cruise in maybe more of a specialized way, in the wake of her separation, back in what still isn't quite the day from her then husband Horst Loeffler, after too many hours indoors and blinds drawn, listening to endless repeats of Stevie Nicks' The Landslide on a compilation tape, she ignored the rest of the rest of drinking horrible Crown Royal Shirley Temples, chasing with grenadine directly from the bottle, and going through a bushel of day of Kleenex. Maxine finally allowed her friend Heidi to convince her that a Caribbean cruise would be somehow an upgrade from her mental prognosis. One day she went sniffling down the hall from her office into the In-N-Out travel agency, where she found undusted surfaces, beat up furniture, and disheveled model of the ocean liner that shared a number of design elements with the RMS Titanic. So she's like, I'm on a failed, I'm on a failed cruise at the moment in terms of her life. So the Titanic reference. You're in luck. We've had a long pause. No eye contact. Cancellation? Suggested Maxine. You could say the price was irresistible to anyone in their right mind. Too much so. So it's too good to be true. And it's going to be too good to be true. Her parents were happy to look after the boys. Maxine, still runny-nosed, found herself in a taxi with Heidi, who'd come along to see her off, headed for a terminal in Newark, or possibly Elizabeth, which seemed to handle most freighters. In fact, Maxine's cruise ship turned out to be a Hungarian tramp container vessel called the MV Aristide Olt, sailing under the Marshallese flag of convenience. It wasn't until her first night out at sea she learned that she was actually on board. She'd been booked on board an AMBOPEDI Frolics 1998, a yearly gathering of the American Borderline Personality Disorder Association. I mean, like, you just, that sets the tone for the entire book. And so she, basically she winds up in a dream sequence in her real life with an individual who becomes pertinent later on. I don't know. It's a lot of fun, because you want to say like it's almost like it's sci-fi, but it's reality. I think that's sort of the point. It's a fun frolic through how at times reality feels like a dream world. And yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I recommend it. I'm going through it right now. I'm gonna go through and find all the dream sequences. We'll go through them all, and I think I may, do something with them musically. So I may turn them into lyrics or something, because does anyone else in here have like crazy vivid dreams sometimes? Like last night I had not before last. I've had a series of sort of crazy vivid dreams. You sort of find yourself disoriented the next day, whatever. Anyways, I think I'm gonna end it there. I've got it out of my system. I haven't streamed in a couple days. I don't know, life's been interesting, but we'll get through it. And long days, lots of thought. That's the thing, is like I don't have anyone I can talk to. lots of thoughts, not a lot of time. Um, there's a uh, couple other instances of yeah, like I write down notes. Oh yeah, so I was watching a thing, and it was on Battlestar Galactica, and I forget that what time it came out because I didn't watch I didn't finish watching the show until like years after, probably 2012, 2013 did I like finish the show. And so thinking about like, oh, it was written 2 years after 9/11. And so like that's one of the interesting things is because this book is based around it's in 2001, so it's leading up to 9/11, and then it has a shift about halfway through of the pre 9/11, post 9/11 uh, sort of mentality that people take, and then it's based in New York, so it's actually kind of interesting. And so then I didn't realize like, oh yeah, Battlestar Galactica was written in 2002, so it was in that shift, and so um, very much everyone would have been influenced by the dynamic shift in yeah, pre post 9/11 mentality. And so I mean that's sort of, and that's because this is based in that it's it's got a it's like, oh, reality at some point becomes like something other than, because so many things coalesce and collide and like come together that um yeah, you just it feels like a dream. Like it feels like there's parts of your life literally that, and so like, anybody that lived through, I don't know, any other turbulent time in reality, where like, oh, there's a whole section of life that didn't feel normal, and like you look back on it almost as though like it wasn't real. And I think that that's sort of what it plays on. um, but yeah, anyways, no one wanted to chat tonight, so we just hanging out, or this morning. Night, it's not night, it's just dark outside. It's not night, it's morning. Anyways, hope y'all have a good day, and I will talk to everyone soon, hopefully. Do some more music stuff later. I've been tired and ready for a break. Anyways, hope you have a good day. See you.